What does the opponent want us to do here? The opponent wants us to be about Trump, Mar-a-Lago, MAGA, and abortion. I mean, I don't think that, and racism and the usual stuff that they always talk about. But those two issues, I think, play to Democrats' strengths in this because Trump isn't on the ballot. So it becomes a weird distraction for a lot of people who want to vote on kitchen table issues. I think they want to vote up on the economy. And, we're trying to win over independents. We're trying to win over people who are persuadable. So I think that's where it all really factors in. And I just think the Democrat machinery is trying to suppress GOP votes by saying, I think they're exaggerating the abortion polling. I think they're exaggerating the decline in Republican support for some of these candidates as a function of polling, which, Clay, I mean, we all remember what happened. First of all, the Youngkin race, there were polls showing Youngkin losing by like 7 points.
This is probably something that you're going to hear from me and from Buck a lot over the next, 70 days till the election, Buck, in November. It's going to be here before we know it, particularly coming out of Labor Day, which is Monday. We're officially going to be in the sprint run of the midterms. You all out there listening to us right now, I 100% believe have the ability to determine the outcomes in the elections in Nevada, in Arizona, in Georgia, in Pennsylvania, in Wisconsin. And I'm going to toss this state in because I do think it's starting to move in a way that is a bit intriguing, New Hampshire, right? Not a lot of discussion right now about the idea of flipping New Hampshire, frankly, since Governor Sununu decided not to go. And New Hampshire has one of the latest primaries of anywhere. I think it's in mid-September. So this is a real sprint up in the Granite State. I think I got that right. Those 6 states are going to determine who controls the United States Senate. You guys out there listening to us right now will make, I firmly believe this, the difference in many of these states. Good news. I know there's been sort of a drumbeat, would you say, Buck, of negativity over the last couple of weeks about Republican chances, about where we are likely headed. Poll came out during today's show in the state of Georgia. Battleground state, you've got Governor Brian Kemp going head-to-head against Stacey Abrams. You've got Reverend Raphael Warnock, current senator there, going up against Herschel Walker. Good news. Doesn't mean you can let up at all. I think Herschel Walker is going to be on with us Friday, but this latest Emerson poll, Buck, has Herschel Walker up 2 and Brian Kemp up 4. For those of you who are intrigued by presidential politics, Donald Trump has a 5-point lead in this poll over Joe Biden. Biden's approval rating, 42%. I think it's fair to say dragging down Warnock and Abrams, not helping them at all. This would be a big deal because you pick up a Senate seat, you take one away from the Democrats. And to me, the pathway that looks foreseeable is add Nevada, add Georgia. I think those are the 2 states right now that are the most likely to be picked up for Republican candidates. Buck, you taking any glee, any pleasure at all in this poll that's coming out? First one in a while that's had Herschel Walker up. At least good news in that respect.
Absolutely. I want everybody focused in here on sprinting to the finish across the country. I mean, we have so many people listening to this whose votes are really going to make a difference, really going to count, because you're going to have some of these Senate races, might be 10,000, might be 5,000, might be 500 votes, right? I mean, this has happened before. Look at the Norm Coleman, Al Franken showdown in Minnesota some years ago. I think at one point the margin was like a couple of hundred votes. I mean, it can be very. So everyone has to understand that this is the first time we have a real referendum opportunity here on the situation of COVID. And to our previous caller, I totally agree. Crime, energy, the border, those issues are should be absolutely front and center. I think that there is a media gambit that we've seen recently to try and suppress GOP turnout. And I think what they want to make, I mean, Clay, when you're talking about, for example, the polling on abortion, That's real, clearly, in these states. We're seeing it, and it has been, for some GOP candidates, a drag. What we see, though, is they want to make this election about Trump, first and foremost, and then probably the freedom and choice issue and post-Dobbs as much as possible, because everything else is going to be negative for them. Everything else is going to be a challenge for them. And so I think that they're trying to depress turnout on the GOP side and get the left-wing base excited that they can hold the line here against the red wave. And Herschel, Oz, Masters, they are all very much in it. The fact that Herschel's up a little bit now, I think that number is likely to grow. The party in power, the Democrats, are the ones who I think with greater focus will be losing support. And we have to see, what does the opponent want us to do here? The opponent wants this to be about Trump, Mar-a-Lago, MAGA, and abortion. I mean, I don't think that, and racism and the usual stuff that they always talk about. But those two issues, I think, play to Democrat strengths in this because Trump isn't on the ballot. So it becomes a weird distraction for a lot of people who want to vote on kitchen table issues. I think they want to vote up on the economy. And, we're trying to win over independents. We're trying to win over people who are persuadable. So I think that's where it all really factors in. And I just think, the Democrat machinery is trying to suppress GOP votes by saying, I think they're exaggerating the abortion polling. I think they're exaggerating the decline in Republican support for some of these candidates as a function of polling, which, Clay, I mean, we all remember what happened. First of all, the Youngkin race, there were polls showing Youngkin losing by like 7 points.
Yeah, look, I was down in Georgia campaigning for Herschel on Saturday and for Brian Kemp. And there is tremendous optimism about Brian Kemp's campaign. Current governor of Georgia trounced Sonny Perdue in the primary. They are convinced that Stacey Abrams has been unable to basically get a glove on him in a boxing match analogy, and that he is going to win, and he's going to win comfortably. This is the analysis there. That doesn't mean if you're in Georgia listening to us right now, you can take it easy. You're winning with Brian Kemp. And there is increasing optimism that Herschel is sort of finding his stride and that he is going to be able to run alongside of Brian Kemp and that their overall Republican ticket is going to do well. And to me, I've said this for a while in this show, Buck, Georgia is the ultimate battleground. Now, I think Arizona's number 2 on the ultimate battleground sort of map nationwide. Pennsylvania's up there and everything else. But Georgia had been a red state for a long time. And then unbelievable disaster happened, I think, frankly, in the state of Georgia. 2 Senate seats that are given up. And in the process, Georgia flips to a blue state. Georgia's got to take back that state. Georgians listening to us right now all over have to, and that's a good sign that they're starting to be coalescing around Herschel. I would say this, too. The benefit that Herschel has, Buck, is he's a known quantity. So they are going to spend tens of millions of dollars attacking him, the likes of which you haven't seen in a long time. And most Georgians are going to say, hey, I've known Herschel Walker since 1980 when he came to go play for the Georgia Bulldogs. It's hard for you to change people's opinion of someone that many of them have known for 30 or 40 years in terms of as a public figure. And so I think all these attack ads from Reverend Raphael Warnock are not going to land. And I think this student debt cancellation in Georgia is a big deal because Warnock has come out in favor of it. I think the vast majority of Georgians don't think that decision is right.
I really want to see Herschel Walker victorious, and Dr. Oz, I think, is also surging.
He's starting
right
to
now.
find his legs, starting to get comfortable,
starting to get into his groove, and also take the issues to the people. The Democrats do not have, as a party right now, they do not have a strong record at all to stand on. They've been in control of the government the last 2 years, and things have been a mess. It has been a rough 2 years for America. I remember 2018, 2019, telling my radio audience then, Clay, before we teamed up, guys, enjoy this, because this is about as good as it gets. America at peace, massive prosperity, sane governance, And the biggest issue we had was dealing with the Russia collusion madness, which was all a lie, and we knew it. But the point is, for the country overall, things were actually going really, really well. Things have been crappy. People have people have a right to think so because that's reality for the last couple of years. And I think as long as they remember that the things, look, obviously America's still a great country. We're lucky to be here, all the rest of it. But in terms of decisions, cause and effect, Democrats have made the economy worse, the border worse, crime worse, made energy prices go up. And there needs to be accountability for those decisions at the ballot box. And as long as people focus in on what matters with that and not, Trump, semi-fascism, and all this other stuff the media is going to try to push, then I think we're going to be in really good shape. I think more specifically, I think these candidates you're talking about are going to be in really good shape.
Yeah, and we need to talk more. There's been a lot of media attention on, the Republicans didn't pick their best possible candidates, right? How often have you seen that article? How often have you heard that talking point? Frankly, even from Mitch McConnell himself. Fetterman is the worst major political party candidate for a major state Senate race like this that I can remember seeing in forever. You can be in Pennsylvania right now, and maybe you're a big McCormick, maybe you're a Barnett person. That was a really bruising Republican primary. But Fetterman is a Bernie Sanders clone, and that does not fit the people of Pennsylvania at all. So for all the talk about nominees and who's running and who's not, the worst nominee, I really do believe this, in a competitive Senate race this year is Fetterman in Pennsylvania. He cannot be the representative of Pennsylvania. And I think people are starting to recognize just how radical he is.
He's radical, and also, he had a major stroke. I mean, there's a serious...
Oh, he's not healthy.
There's a serious health issue. This is not like people exaggerating or playing politics.
Yes.
Look, we want everyone to be healthy.
He almost died.
I wish him, many decades of good health and a long and, happy life with his family. We're just talking about whether you're in a position right now at this point in time to your point, represent the state of Pennsylvania in the United States Senate. And health-wise, he's not even up for
For
this.
6 years.
I mean, I remember
6 years.
We used to hear about Dick Cheney's heart from the lib media during the Bush administration every 5 minutes.
All the time.
Every 5 minutes. And there were jokes on late-night TV about it all the time and the whole thing. And he was the vice president. He wasn't even the president. With Joe Biden and now Fetterman, you can see you can be too old for the job. You can be too sick for the job. None of those standards apply if they think they can get a Democrat into that position of power. All that matters is whether it is a check mark for their team.
Dr. Oz has challenged him to 5 debates. So far, Fetterman has not agreed to a single debate. And there are legitimate questions about whether he could even sit for an interview.
Do you think this is going to fly with the people of Pennsylvania? I mean, Pennsylvania is one of these states where, the kitchen table issues right now should be determining how this election goes.
It's a blue collar.
Yeah, you got a lot of people that are working hard for the money they have, trying to pay their bills, and it's a place where the cities, obviously, particularly Philadelphia, has had a really rough go the last few years. It's really going to fly with them that this guy Fetterman's not even going to show up for a debate? I mean, people are going to be okay with that? I just can't imagine.
So.
Look, the far left will, but when I say the people, you know what I mean. Those who can be persuaded. What are you going to do for me if you get the job? Those people who ask that question and want a real answer, I can't imagine, sweatshirt Fetterman is gonna be the guy they go with, but maybe.
I think Oz is going to catch him. He's going to get into a fight with him. And, like those close quarters campaigns, and I think Fetterman's going to crumble. I think he has got no substance.
Do you think when Fetterman goes to like a friend's wedding, he still wears the like schlumpy sweatshirt? And, I love sweatshirts. I'm wearing one now. I'm just wondering, though, do you think like this is his thing all the time? Is he like Steve Jobs where he has one outfit and that's the way he does it?
Doesn't matter what the event is. That's a fantastic question. I have no idea.
Might have to look into
Would he wear it on the Senate floor? Is he going to take the hoodie off?
Question.